What do I sacrifice? Everything. In a galaxy of lightsabers, chosen ones, and mythic destinies, Luthen Rael stands apart. No Jedi powers, no ancient prophecy, just a man burning in the shadows so that others can step into the light. He's not a hero. He's not a villain. He's the one who lit the fuse. This is the story of Star Wars' most complex rebel, and the price he paid to make rebellion possible. Luthen Rael didn't emerge from nowhere. He's the ghost in the archives of history, a composite figure stitched together from the ambitions, betrayals, and sacrifices of real-world revolutionaries. His philosophy? Push the system to its breaking point, even if people get crushed in the collapse. It's a playbook we've seen before. Giuseppe Mazzini, the Italian idealist, who sparked revolutions by appealing to moral destiny. Garibaldi, the daring general who risked everything to unify a fractured people. The French resistance, invisible yet essential, coordinating sabotage, risking annihilation, driven not by glory but necessity. Like Luthen, they worked in shadows. They inspired rebellion by igniting fear in tyrants. And hope in the oppressed. But Luthen takes it further. He's not just willing to lose battles, he's willing to lose himself. He unites factions. He sacrifices allies. He chooses outcomes over innocence. In him, we see the echo of revolutionaries who believed that to birth a better world, sometimes you must set the old one on fire. Luthen Rael doesn't kill because he wants to. He kills because he believes he has to. In his world, morality isn't a compass, it's a burden. And survival depends on choosing the lesser evil. This is consequentialism, the belief that the morality of an action is defined by its outcome. If the result is liberation, then betrayal, manipulation, even murder might be justified. That's not Jedi philosophy. That's Machiavelli. That's Bentham. That's the battlefield logic of history's harshest revolutions. Utilitarian thinkers like John Stuart Mill argued, the greatest good for the greatest number. But what if achieving that good means sacrificing people who'll never live to see it? Luthen has no illusions. He lies to allies. He lets heroes die. He weaponizes pain to provoke uprising. He says it himself. I burn my life to make a sunrise I know I'll never see. But is that noble or monstrous? Kant would say no, because we must never treat people as mere means to an end. Virtue ethicists would say it erodes the soul. Yet in war, theory collapses, and Luthen walks that collapsing bridge alone. Luthen Rael wasn't just written, he was forged, out of centuries of revolution, war, and political upheaval. According to Andor's creator, Tony Gilroy, Luthen is what happens when you cherry-pick from 6,000 years of history to design the rebel no one sees coming. He's not modeled after a single figure. He's every underground general, every manipulator, every martyr without a monument. Gilroy describes him as an accelerationist, a man who provokes the empire into tightening its grip, just so the pain will wake the people up. His commitment? Total, Gilroy says. So total that he's immolated his own life, sacrificed his identity, and given up peace, just to keep the fire alive. But Gilroy doesn't paint him as a hero. In fact, he says, not everybody wants to make that commitment. Not everybody works best with those rules. And that's the point. Luthen isn't meant to inspire. He's meant to disturb. He's the one who does what no one else will. And that's how rebellions begin. Quietly, violently, in the gray. If Tony Gilroy wrote the storm, Stellan Skarsgård gave it a soul. Skarsgård didn't play Luthen Rael as a hero. He played him as a fracture, a man split between persona and purpose, idealism and brutality. He's an enigma, Skarsgård says, not because he's unknowable, but because he's everyone and no one at the same time. He sacrifices others. He sacrifices himself. And still, we don't know if he's right. Skarsgård embraced that ambiguity. He said, "I like that people don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, because real people are never just one thing." His performance rests in the quiet spaces, the way he removes his rings before switching personas, the way his eyes flicker with calculation and regret. And then there's the monologue, the speech that made Andor a masterpiece. "I've given up all chance at inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts." Skarsgård said he was scared to deliver that scene. Because it wasn't just good writing, it was truth. Luthen isn't a symbol. He's a tragedy. A man who knows what he's become and does it anyway. Andor didn't just introduce a new character, it rewired the soul of Star Wars. Gone were the Jedi, the destiny, the nostalgia-soaked fan service. In their place, surveillance, oppression, collateral damage, and one man willing to orchestrate it all just to spark something greater. Luthen Rael isn't the chosen one. He's the necessary one. Critics called Andor the most mature story the franchise has ever told. Not because it was dark, but because it dared to ask, what does freedom cost when no one else will pay it? While other shows chased spectacle, Andor chased truth. It gave us rebels with no guarantees. It showed us that the Death Star doesn't get destroyed because of destiny. It gets destroyed because people like Luthen sacrificed everything before anyone else believed it was possible. He doesn't get a medal. He doesn't even get remembered. But without Luthen Rael, Star Wars has no rebellion. Luthen Rael will never appear in a parade. No statues, no myths, no Force ghosts to whisper wisdom from beyond. He is the kind of person history forgets, even though he shapes it. What Andor teaches us is that rebellion isn't made of heroes. It's made of people who sacrifice when no one's watching, who choose what is necessary over what is noble. Luthen is a warning, but he's also a mirror, a reflection of the choices that people in power make when ideals collide with consequence. His legacy is not hope. His legacy is the cost of hope. And maybe that's what makes him the most important character Star Wars has ever given us, because freedom was never free. And Luthen Rael is the man who paid first.